Yes, it's really remarkable. The administration here in Washington is really going after China in a way that we just haven't seen throughout the entire Trump presidency at the moment. The Secretary of State Mike Pompeo today accused China directly of causing hundreds of thousands of deaths across the world, and he said his quote was, "They had a choice." And it's very very strong words. And at the same time, the Chinese ambassador to the US also has put an op-ed in the paper where he has accused America of basically hating China for China's sake, and everything China does, the Americans now criticise. So this is a war of words that is really, really escalating. And Mike Pompeo, of course, has backed Scott Morrison's call for an inquiry into the origins of the coronavirus. So things are really heating up.
Yeah, it seems that has been rejected overnight as well. The spokesperson speaking at the World Health Organization seemed to reject that, saying that China wouldn't consider any kind of investigation until the pandemic is over. That could be years away.
That could be years away, and you do wonder, Laura, whether they would ever agree to an independent investigation. I mean, it would be very sensitive for the Chinese. It would go into issues of Communist Party management of hospitals, censorship. There's a lot of reasons why China would be very opposed to this. I'm fairly sceptical that they'll ever get a chance to send teams in there to find out exactly what happened. But at this point in time, certainly it's way too early to even really consider this in a big way. But Donald Trump and Mike Pompeo are absolutely pushing it very hard right now.
Well, Cam, I think history is on your side with that scepticism. Let me ask you about the coronavirus task force in the US now. It will be kept after all. This is after Donald Trump announced that he was going to disband it. Now he says it'll stay. Why the change of heart?
Well, it's a very good question, Laura, because Mike Pence, the Vice President, yesterday said it would be disbanded in about a month's time, and Donald Trump this morning, American time, just said no, we're going to keep it because it's so popular, which is a rather unusual thing for Donald Trump to say. What he's done though, he's recast the task force, saying they will oversee the reopening of America, the safe reopening of the United States. So he's moved words around a little bit to see exactly for a different task, if you like. But look, it's interesting that he's going to keep it on. I think it's probably quite important for public confidence too, because public confidence is quite rattled over here at the moment with so many states opening up their economies at a time when the infection rates are just not falling. And so there's a bit of nervousness around, and I think the part of this task force, the role is actually just to keep the confidence of Americans as high as it can reasonably be.
In some of the worst hit states like New York, is the economy starting to open up? I know that Governor Cuomo is pretty cautious about these kind of things.
Look, New York isn't opening up yet. New York's going to be the toughest to open up, and the neighbouring states like Connecticut, Massachusetts, they've been hit very hard as well. So it's not opening up well, and the governor, Andrew Cuomo, really is he's in a real bind here because, of course, the city is massively hurting. It's a huge economy in New York City. And so he's still in a bind, though. I mean, 230 odd deaths again just yesterday. So death rates are not falling nearly as fast as he would like. So he's in a real bind, a little less so than some other governors in other areas of the country where the rates are still high, the infection rates, but there's enough wiggle room that they can at least open some businesses. I think Governor Cuomo will have to wait, Laura, a bit longer to do that.
What does life look like in New York City and some of those worst hit states at the moment? We just saw pictures of no shops being open, but is there takeaway? Is there some kind of public transport, or is it literally the city is shut down?
No, New York it's got subway. The subway doesn't run at night in New York City. A lot of restaurants have retooled themselves, like in Australia, for takeaway and delivery. And I mean, really, a lot of restaurants have done that. So it's a lot of businesses still going. People are still in the streets in New York, and especially in the parks, but less so. But no, shops still remain shuttered. All non-essential shops remain shuttered, and that'll be the case for a while. Gymnasiums are closed. It's not like in some of the southern states and the Midwest states where you've got gymnasiums and hair salons and barbershops, etc., opening up. That's just not happening in the epicenters of the virus, and that includes New York, Chicago, New Orleans, and Detroit.